Have you ever looked at someone successful and thought, they must be special? Maybe you've told yourself they had something you don't: better connections, more talent, perfect timing, or just plain luck. But what if I told you that the difference between those who make it and those who don't isn't some rare gift, but a choice, a mindset, a decision to keep moving forward even when everything says stop? Right now, all over the world, ordinary people are achieving extraordinary things. They weren't born into fame or fortune. They didn't start with a master plan. The problem is we often don't give ourselves permission to even try. The people who've made the biggest impact weren't always the smartest in the room. They were the ones who were willing to fail, to be laughed at, to stand alone if they had to. They were the ones who kept showing up. Most people never feel ready. They start scared. They start insecure. They start not knowing what they're doing. But they start with who am I to dream big? But the better question is, who are you not to? In fact, many of them began right where you are: confused, uncertain, and maybe even a little afraid. What sets them apart isn't superhuman ability. It's that they refused to stay stuck. They believed, even when it seemed foolish. Sometimes, it's getting out of bed when everything feels pointless. It's applying for that job after 5 rejections. It's saying, I don't know how, but I'll figure it out. And they acted when it would have been easier to wait. Let's clear something up right now. Extraordinary does not mean famous. It doesn't mean rich. It doesn't mean having millions of followers or a book deal. Everyone around him thought it was a waste of time. He was in his 40s. He hadn't been to school in over 2 decades, but he kept going. 10 years later, he became a software engineer and started mentoring young people from his neighborhood, helping them get jobs in tech. He didn't become a celebrity. He didn't end up on magazine covers, but he changed the entire direction of his life and the lives of others, refusing to accept that where he started was where he had to stay. Extraordinary means pushing past what's comfortable. It means becoming someone you never thought you could be. She didn't have a quiet office or hours of free time. She had 20 minutes between exhaustion and sleep. But she wrote every day for 3 years. Today, her books are used in schools to inspire children who come from the same background she did. She wasn't born a writer. She became one. It's chasing down your own potential, even if no one else sees it yet. Consider the story of a janitor who started taking online courses after his shift each night. Then there's the single mother working 2 jobs who still made time to write every evening after her kids went to bed. You see, the problem isn't that we don't have the capacity for greatness. Every invention, every movement, every leap forward in history started with a single person deciding not to settle. Think about it. And showing up doesn't always mean dramatic actions. Sometimes, showing up is just refusing to give up. There is a powerful truth that most people never realize. You don't have to wait to feel ready, and starting is everything. The world tries to tell you that you need to have it all figured out before you begin, that you need to be perfect, polished, prepared, but that's not how real change works. Real change is messy. It's full of mistakes and awkward learning curves. She never asked for recognition. She never sought praise. But her kindness, her patience, her presence, it transformed lives. He started with just a few sandwiches, then a few more. Eventually, he built a network of volunteers and opened a non-profit kitchen. He wasn't a celebrity chef. He wasn't wealthy. He simply cared enough to act. She wasn't on a stage. She was in the background, and yet she was extraordinary. But that's what makes it real. That's what makes it matter. That's the hardest part, because we live in a world that celebrates the finish line, not the first step. But greatness isn't born at the end, and persistence is something anyone can have. It's not about skill, it's about choice. It's built in the beginning when no one's watching, when you're doing the work in silence, when you're planting seeds that won't bloom for months or even years. Choose to take responsibility for your life, your growth, your future. Maybe it's your future self. Maybe it's your children. Maybe it's someone you haven't even met yet, but they need the best version of you. And that version doesn't show up by accident. That version is built day by day, choice by choice. It's not always glamorous. It's not about recognition. It's about impact. It's about heart. You are exactly where you need to be to begin. And you don't need all of it at once. Just enough to take the next step. They're all around you, and you can be one of them. Not by becoming someone else, but by becoming fully, unapologetically you. It's about doing what most people won't, taking the risk, making the call, trying again. Think about the nurse who spent her entire career in a small-town hospital, staying after hours to check on patients, comforting families, training younger staff. Or the young man who turned his love for cooking into a way to feed the homeless in his city every weekend. This is what extraordinary looks like. Not a perfect version of you. A real one. A growing one. An unstoppable one. It's not always loud. You're building something. Becoming someone. Living a life that once felt impossible. You have everything you need to start. Right now. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need permission. You need courage. Because one step leads to another. And then another. And before you know it, you're no longer standing where you used to be. But you have to be willing to be seen starting small. Do not underestimate the power of persistence. Talent is great, but persistence, that's what changes lives. That's what builds legacies. Make the choice. Choose to keep going when you want to quit. Choose to believe in something better, even when it's hard to see. You are not too old, you are not too young, you are not too late. Right now, there's someone waiting for you to rise. Ordinary people doing extraordinary things are not a rare exception. You have a story worth writing, a journey worth taking, a voice that matters. So ask yourself this: what would happen if you stopped waiting? What would happen if you chose to believe that you, too, can do something extraordinary? Not someday, today. Because the truth is, you don't need to be chosen. You need to choose. Choose to rise. Choose to try. Choose to become the person you were meant to be. The world needs you. Ordinary people are doing extraordinary things every single day. And now, it's your turn.